Alright guys, let's go. It is the final deciding match of Group C. What an adventure we've been on so far. Of course, if you guys are just tuning in now, go back to the start. The first match we did check out from this one was, of course, CLEM versus MaxPax. You can see that one would have gone up in the recent past here on the YouTube channel, assuming you're watching it there and not live on Twitch. So go check it out there. But we are finding ourselves now in the final deciding match, guys. It is going to be Dark in the top left, the blue Zerg. His opponent in the bottom right, the red Terran. This is CLEM, the best Terran in Europe. So Hero Marine definitely been challenging him for that. Of course, CLEM hailing from France, young Clement Desplanches. He's going to be going for a standard barracks gas opening. Dark hailing from Korea. Player who really just roared onto the scene late 2014, started making a little bit of a name for himself, making himself known in the Korean scene. By 2015 and mid-2015, he was already talking a lot of shit. And a lot of players in the Korean scene were like, who the hell is this guy, kid? Because even when he was just coming up the ranks, he was like, these guys are all trash. I'm so much better than them. And that's why we kind of love Dark. He would talk shit with a big smile on his face the whole time while being he's like, I 100% believes it. And he's very serious, but he never stopped talking shit. And he did, of course, I think it was a Kesper Cup was one of the first tournaments that he managed to win. And then he obviously made it to the World Championship Grand Finals, barely losing to Beyond there. A lot of fans still say he got cheated by how strong the Reaper was at that point and how big a role Reapers, Reaper Micro, and the map pool played in that. Not to mention, tanks were able to be picked up by siege tanks in boosted medevacs at that time. And my God, did Beyond use that damned well. But Dark, of course, since then has become one of the most consistent top-tier competitors, the 2019 World Champion, followed by, of course, Raynor being the reigning... sorry, did I say 2019? Sorry, 2020 World Champion is Dark. 2021... wait, no. Oh my God, I get confused because we do our World Championships like later now, 4 months later than we used to do them. But no, yeah, it was 2019 Dark where he beat Raynor in the finals in a one-sided display. It was an absolutely dominant display. Raynor did end up winning the following year, but Dark always making it very deep in these and having, honestly, an almost mythical reputation in the last year of StarCraft, where every single game in the last year and a half of StarCraft, I see Dark, I click it. I don't even hesitate, because I know it's going to be fun. Unlike Rogue, the hype killer, who often just shits on his opponents and makes them look bad, Dark sometimes makes kind of bad players look pretty decent, and they get ahead, and then he monster modes them. Dark always tells us a story with the way he just shits all over people from behind and he makes crazy comebacks and all sorts of stuff. So I absolutely love just seeing all the different things that he brings out and the crazy strategies. For now, he is leaving a worker on gas, so potentially a sign of a very quick muted play. Might want to go for a quick lair or something like that. He's got a bit of a Zergling run by already getting ready. And I mean, Dark has dismantled CLEM 3-0 in one of the EPT weekly NA finals that I remember casting. And since then, a lot of players have really focused on when he moves out with his Hellions, move in with your Zerglings. So the Overlord sees it. Does he go in? Looks like he's going to wait for extra Hellions to come out of the map. Clem's still dancing around, sees everything looks pretty normal here. Lots of drones, lots of queens, good Overlord spread. So Dark does kind of see everything that's happening. Now, those Hellions do move out. The Zerglings move in, but 2 more Hellions are here on station. Clem, he was prepared for this. I think he expected Dark to try and abuse him like this. He's done it before. He'll do it again. And that mule does survive for now. But those Zerglings going to take up station, I think, ready to go back in one more time. And these Hellions and Reapers are there. He's going to go back in again. And I think Clem very wisely pulling back with his Hellions. But look at that. Dark being a cheeky bugger here and just saying, you know what? Split one off, see if he's chasing me. If he is, we'll keep running to the corner. And he's buying a lot of time for himself. Look at this. He's being such a nuisance with just a handful of lings. Creep spreading out the front. He's getting drones onto that third base. Not the biggest worker count just yet, and it is a very quick lair for Dark. So yeah, he's going to go rush Nidus or Mutas. No Roach Horn, so I'm thinking Mutas. Doesn't have a lot of gas, though. Second gas has come up, though. So yeah, you'll hit 200 gas shortly after the lair. It's not perfectly timed out, but close enough. 2 gases do mine pretty quickly. So you see he's about 50 gas short when the lair kicks in. And should be going for that Spire momentarily. So it's going to be Surprise Mutas up against Hellion Banshee. Third command center going down in the wall. Not the quickest command center. This Mutas could come as a... No, it's a Nidus? He's doing a Ling Queen Nidus. Oh, Dark, you silly character. He did this first MaxPax in game 1. He's doing the Chandray Annihilator, but he's doing it versus Terran. Now, this can actually work because Overseer will negate the Banshees, and if he doesn't see the Nidus coming up and stop the first Nidus, honestly, you can just die to this. It's such a good attack. Everything looks so standard because there's plenty of drones on the third, lots of queens, which is normally the sign of a defensive play. The one way you can make queens into an offensive play is by Nidusing it into the main. Marine spots it. Clem needs to pull the boys right now. Clem! He's not watching. Okay, he pulls the SCVs, but even that 2 or 3 second delay is a problem. He cancels the add-on. He's trying to build buildings. He needs a tank right now. It does start up. He's attacking this, but oh my god, he's not going to stop it. Oh no, the transfuses! And that is a disaster. The Nidus, as I said, if that Nidus gets up, he's probably just dead. The Banshee's flying back through those queens. He's going to try and get up here. If the Hellions can deal with Zerglings pretty well, so that definitely can work, but he's got to try to get this tank out. Problem, guys, is that tank can't fit. It can pop there or there. Either way, it's going to potentially get surrounded immediately. We've already got an SCV repair squad. He's pulling the SCVs. He's got to protect these Marines and these tanks as they pop out. The Queens are so tanky, and already one Banshee goes down. Oh no, his units get surrounded. So you see, he tried to pull out there to defend the siege tank. The tank does survive for a moment. He kills a lot of these Zerglings, but those Queens are hungry. They're horny. They want to take it down, and he doesn't get the depot up. Oh no, Clem doesn't get the depot up. Okay, he's got to siege that tank, and he's got to siege it up now. He pulls it back to the right. He's trying to guard it. He's got to get that Nidus worm down. I think the Nidus has to be the focus here. You got to focus the Nidus, buddy. Yeah, he will take it down. Okay, Factory's going to try and get out of there. The Queen's focus fire. Dark realizes if he can get that down, that would be huge. It's going to try and land there. SCVs will need to repair that. 25 SCVs have gone down. There's still a very small chance of stabilizing, but my god, that's a lot of Queens. And yeah, Clem just going to throw in the towel there. That first Nidus getting up is Hellions and Banshees both being far out on the map, and it's not the quickest Nidus worm, but holy crap, is it hard to stop. Let me check. Is that 530? 520 that pops up, something like that. It's not that fast. The real reason it works is because it's so surprising. What is the benchmark for this? 520. Let's just look. The Hellions and the Reapers are there. The Banshees are out on the map. What damage does he have at home? He has 2 Marines, which are going to take forever to walk from the natural up there, even though a Marine spots it straight away. Like I said, he needed to pull his SCVs the second it dropped, because they're going to take most of that 14 seconds just to get over there. And even with that, this is just a hard spot to be in. Hellions and Banshees, you can stabilize, you can hang on, but you cannot let him inside your main base so quickly. And Dark there, just pulling a fast one, did what looked like a completely normal build order, and that's it. The power of doing something might not be the crispest, fastest, scariest timing on paper. You add it to a situation, though, where there is nothing that sets off your opponent's alarm bells. Clem caught completely with his pants down. Nice game 1 victory there for Dark. All right. Rough start to the series here, man. Just caught off guard. That build order he did, honestly, I feel like it was so safe. Early Banshees, lots of Hellion production, 3rd command center delayed. Team Liquid's Clem took all of the safety measures against the standard Ravager Ling busts, big surprise Baneling busts, but cheeky Nidus Worm with no real easy tells to spot, that did catch him off guard, and so a rough start to the series. His opponent now, in the top right, Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Dark. I think he's going to go a little bit more standard, might still do some little Ling backstabs just to kind of basically keep the Hellions at home a little bit. But I would imagine Clem's going to be very eager to dive for Hellions in this game, just to get a bit more information. Maybe catch Dark a little light on the Zerglings, a little greedy. I think that wouldn't be a bad choice for Clem. Of course, it's always a little bit of a gamble. Dark has the right number of Zerglings, surrounds your Hellions. It's rough, but I think Clem's quick enough usually to identify that and then run home. And I think... I always say I want to see Mutiling Bane out of Dark. He doesn't do it nearly as much as I'd like. Is this the time where he pulls out a Mutiling Bane macro game? Does he just play Roach, Hydra, Lurker, Viper? I think we're going to see Mutiling Bane. That's my bet here. I really do think Mutiling Bane, high chance of that. What makes Dark so scary is that he mixes that in. It's only like 1 in 3 or 4 games usually. Always does it at least once in a best of 5. But and he has such a high win rate with it because his opponents are worried about Roach attacks. They're always worried about Roach attacks and Niduses and the other crazy shit that he throws out all the time. But it's often the Lingbane Muta that I think has probably the highest win percentage by map for him. All right, Reaper trying to take down the Zerglings. Let's go. Bam, bam, bam. Not getting any kills just yet. Micro, too good there for Dark. Notice he just kept pulling the weak Zerglings back, but he did build 6 Zerglings. Dark and a few other players have started doing this. I think it's entirely unnecessary. I guess he does it just to make sure that tumor doesn't get delayed. I prefer the extra drone there. As it is, though. Link speed gets delayed quite a bit, guys. That's not going to be done till about 4:30. 4:20 maybe, right? Was this 2 minutes and 20... Sorry, it's 1 minute and 20 seconds. Yeah, about 4:10 is when that's going to kick in. So definitely it is a situation where if he was going quick Hellions, he could have dived about 3:30, 3:40 with 4 Hellions, done big damage. But that's not the case, is it, guys? Because he has gone quick third command center into the starport, delayed these first 2 Hellions by a solid 15, 20 seconds. 2 creep tumors are there. Queen's just zoning very nicely. Reaper unable to find a way in. Once again, leaving 1 worker on gas. This gives Dark a lot of flexibility. And I love it because it's the same setup as last game. So if Clem gets in there, maybe he rewinds the replay, sees the gas mining, says, ooh, that's the tell. Comes in here with a Reaper, sees it again. He goes, ooh, this might be the same strategy. But I think 2.5 base mute are more likely for Dark. It's not the greatest strategy against what Clem's doing. Clem, if he goes cloak though, it won't be bad. Yeah. So what's 2.5 base muter? I keep mentioning that. So if you go for a very quick lair, which he is about to start up in just a moment, guys. He's just waiting for 150 minerals, of course, prioritizing all that. The idea is you're getting a lair at a pretty damn quick timing. You're getting your spire down very early. Dark though, second gas before. I think he thinks the lair started. He's honestly, he think. What? Second gas into double Evo 420. Oh my god, okay. Alright. He's just going to play the greediest Lingbane Hydra game of all time. He might even just play pure Lingbane to Ultras. Dark is just going to defend with 7 queens, so not even a very heavy complement of queens. He could get in big trouble against Hellbat or Timings or Battle Cruisers with only 7 queens. You go 8 or 9 queens, you're a lot safer. Doesn't have a Bane Lannis, doesn't have a Roach Warren. Just goes straight double Evo chamber. He builds 2 spores in the main. So he wants to just use the spores and a single queen to defend the Banshee. That's going to stop the Banshee from rotating. So this spore crawler means the Banshee, if it wants to run past, it takes a bunch of hits. And if the Banshee gets in the back, it's really annoying. So Dark has made an executive decision to say, don't let them cross behind. Because if they cross behind on this map, it's really annoying. And you see here, the Banshee comes in, gets a kill, takes some damage, pulls away. And then he just moves the spore forward. So it can just fly past now anyway. Never mind. It's going to really hit home on that point and how cool that adjustment is. But I guess he just figures, whatever. The Banshee's going to keep going for the gases. More important to guard them for now. Hellions picking off some tumors on that side. 13 more drones on the way. Dark does not have extra gases yet, but he took 2 gases so early. If he takes a 4th base, a 5th base, and a macro hatch right now, he can swarm his opponent with Lingbane because he's had a very smooth opening. Hasn't taken any damage. Yes, there's a 3rd command center landed. Yes, Clem's economy is pretty sick as well. Don't get me wrong. But I think in terms of how the builds line up, Dark's build is fantastic against what Clem's doing. 4th and 5th barracks are on the way. 1-1 upgrades have not started. Clem's forgotten his upgrades. Oh no. Clem, those should have already started. There we go. 1-1 upgrades do start up. He's already building tanks. So Clem is thinking about committing to a push, I would say. Probably 2 siege tanks, 2 medevacs, 1-1 upgrades, and he wants combat shields to kick in as well. So he's got to remember to queue that up in the near future, or it might not be ready for the push. And that's very regular because you're very gas-starved with the build order where you're building tanks this early off the back of Cloaked Banshees. A lot of players end up without combat shields ready for that push. He starts an armory on time, which means he will be able to morph Hellbats. So 8 Hellbats, 2 siege tanks, 2 medevacs. It's a nice push. Second tank's very late though. Shield still has not started. I don't see this move turning into nearly as clean a push as I would have visualized for Clem. He's already lost 1 Banshee. Units lost tab. It's not done a lot of damage. 6 drones. Not what he was looking for. This 4th hatchery is now saturating. I do think Dark could have taken this earlier and been further ahead. But to have it still instantly saturated pre-7 minutes and a 5th base about to go down and 2 macro hatchery. I told you guys he could swamp him with Lingbane. He's only on 4 gases right now. 2 gases in the 3rd, 2 gases in the main. This is going to be a silly amount of Lingbane from here. So Clem is going to be constantly pushing on the front and then dealing with mass Lingbane backstabs. And you know the problem for Clem, guys? He's not got a reacted factory. Against a guy who's not building Hydras, no lurkers just yet, he's building tanks. Tanks suck against Zerglings. They're okay versus Banelings, but if your opponent just has overwhelming Lingbane numbers, they will clear your tanks out so easily. And that is why, if you're a Clem fan, you should be very happy that he's building a 4th command center. Very happy that he starts 2-2, hopefully the moment 1-1 finishes, because he's already pretty behind on those upgrades by a full minute behind on the upgrades, man. That's rough. He needs to get Widow Mines out and that sort of stuff, or he just needs to turtle up until they're basically maxed, because in the next minute or so, I do think Dark is going to be able to swarm in with Ling Bane if he keeps his production up. Okay, just 1 or 2 Marines going down there. This double drop trying to be a nuisance. Still no Spire or anything like that. 10 Hydras start up, but no upgrades for them yet. So Dark, you've got to remember those upgrades. Otherwise, Hydras without upgrades, I've often compared those to basically any product you see on late night infomercials. You watch an infomercial, you know the product is shit. Almost always, right? What do you need, a fucking shaker weight? You need a... what was it? It was like the Super Towel or whatever the fucking stupid thing was called. You need a Snuggie. That's essentially what Hydras without upgrades are. And finally, Dark does realize and queues up those Hydra upgrades, but it's still going to be 70 seconds till the first one finishes. 2 minutes 20 until both upgrades are ready. These Hydras nowhere near as mobile or as long ranged as they should be. CLEM though, hot pickups, very well executed so far. And we're just kind of going to late game, man. 5th base is on the way. Dark has not tried to make any offensive moves. He's also not started his hive just yet. That should go down momentarily. He's very rich right now on 87 workers. OV speed's on the way, another 56 Zerglings, so he's going to be hitting max out Will Dark, but Clem's already there. And Clem has started to pump out some Widow Mines mixed in as well, but okay, he does have 1 factory, tech lab, 1 reactor. I like that. The mix. Here comes the push from Dark. He's got 30 Banelings, 98 Zerglings, 11 Hydralisks. First upgrade, the Groove Spine's about to kick in. Clem does not know what he's walking into. Be wary. Dark wants to ambush you. Oh, where's the siege? Where's the siege? If he sieged on the ramp, that would have been all right. This is a really weird, awkward position for Clem to fight in, but at the same time, the Zerglings took a terrible engagement at the front of that. The Banelings make it through, though. The Banelings make it through. That was the problem. The problem was the tanks going down so early, and even though the Zerglings took a terrible engagement, didn't get great stuff, if those tanks had sieged on the ramp immediately, I actually think Clem would have had a solid wall, and all the Zerglings would have been stuck behind each other. So that's a good fight for Dark. Clem does come in on the left side, trying to answer it, but I like the way the Queens transfuse. They pull back. They force the evac on that drop. Ling Hydra does get pulled to the left side. Units start and push through the middle again as well. Clem very light on units right now. When you're light on units, your Widow Mines will not have bang for buck. Why not? Because you don't have enough Marines to gun down the Zerglings. Dark can just run forward, spread his units, and he should be fine. Still a decent Widow Mine hit there, but this is what I'm talking about. The moment the Bio has to pick up and evacuate, the Widow Mines will mostly hit individual or pairs of Zerglings, which is nowhere near cost efficient. And that's why you got to be very careful doing those pushes unless you've also got to drop somewhere else. Unless you're spreading the Zerg's attention, you're not going to be able to get value out of it. Triple Evo Chamber now going for Dark because he is what we in the industry call a Chad Gamer. A Chad Gamer is a guy who does shit that's a little bit off meta, a little bit weird and unique just because he feels like it, and he's confident he's going to win anyway because he looks you in the eyes even in the most nervous moments and just has a perfect poker face. And that is indeed Dark in a nutshell. Bio pushing on forward here. There's no Widow Mines left in there. It's a good number of Banelings. Nice stutter step, but he will have to pick up and get out, I think. Nope. Concussive Shell Marauders really help out there. +3 attack starts up. No +3 armor just yet. Push on the left side as well. Comes in. Thought he might just stand there. Tries to leave the Marauder just to soak some Banelings, but well played by Dark. Plenty of Zerglings. Doesn't manage to take that. It's going to clean up these Widow Mines here. Dark is not letting Widow Mines hang out on the map. This is usually where players let Clem get out of control, as if his Widow Mines survive these fights and start to recycle. But as it is, guys, Clem, he's trading. How well is he trading? 3,000 resources in the positive for him, ahead of Dark, so definitely being more cost efficient. Ooh, loses a medevac with some units in it. The other units get out, but they do take some damage. Hydras make it much harder for Clem to do this poking and pushing and pulling. If he does overextend, he does sometimes take big hits. Definitely a bit of focus fire on those Banes would be nice. Clem has been surprisingly lacking with his Baneling focus fire. He's just focusing on his stutter step today. Even when there's just 2 or 3 Banelings, I really expect him to just click those down and then stand his ground and fight, but he's not really doing it. I do like that this creep on the right side has been pushed so far back. Dark's territory is just not his anymore. His Lurker Viper Tech's coming out, and I think that's where he's going to look to start taking control. And Abduct on a medevac does take it down. Nice pickup and load into the main base. And he's going to pull back those Spore Crawlers zoning out the main. I love that. 4 Spore Crawlers in the main base. Really well set up. Ghosts are now here. They're going to deal with these Lurkers at least a little bit. And 2 of those Lurkers get sniped down. Lingbane rolling forward. It's a great Marauder spready though. And there's 1 or 2 Widow Mines in there. These fights have got to be good for Clem. That unit's loss tab going up to 4,000 in favor of the French boy. Watch out for the Changelings. They could confuse the pathing here. It's kind of annoying. Dark just trying to mess up his micro a little bit. Clem going in, going out. The old in and out, something which Terran players have been practicing for a long time. And you've got to be careful though, as Dark here doing fancy Changeling blocks. Actually traps 5 Marauders and a Marine on the wrong side. Another hatchery cancel on the right side. Clem's keeping pace with Dark. This is really exciting for me because I don't know who's the better late game player. The Changelings did end up securing the kill on that left side, which is super sick. Army on the right does pick up. Watch out, don't boost into the main. Queens and Spores say no, and a full medevac gets shut down. So, units lost tab still, it's parity right now. Both sides just kind of completely dead even in terms of the last little trade or two, but I feel like you're fine with this unit's lost tab as Dark. You've had more workers for longer, you mine from more bases quicker. It's just, if it drags out and no one can secure the middle bases, that's obviously where Clem wins this map. And it's really playing to the favor of the map for Clem here, where he's getting an extra planetary up over here. That's what this will become, to guard his left side. And then most of his focus is going to be holding kind of this area, so we can defend this base, and the base behind it. Now, that planetary, I actually kind of wish was an orbital, and I think he should have taken this base first. He's just playing it real conservative for now. And speaking of, well, not conservative plays, a Nidus Worm going down. A very standard play for this stage of the game. Now, remember, we recently saw, just before this series, Clem lost to Solar, guys. For those who didn't watch it, oh my god, he's going to be already thinking about this stage of the game. I did not want to be dealing with Nidus Worms. And I was talking about at the end of that series, hey, you need to get a Viking out there. Why is Maru the best at this stage of the game? He gets a Viking out there. He doesn't just rely on Ghosts. He leaves a Viking patrolling to make sure an Overseer never gets through. So far, so good, though. Does snipe down the first Overseer. And trying to get vision back there for Dark, definitely going to be a big part of his game. I think, besides the Nidus Worms pulling Clem apart, he probably would have been able to beat Solar in the late game. As it is, though, Dark setting up defensive Nidus Worms right now. Interesting. Units moving forward on the left side of the map. Lots of Lurkers there. Snipes, though. Ooh! Okay, already two of these Lurkers go down. A few more might go down as well. Zerglings come forward. Doesn't have many units here. He's trying to stem back. That's interesting. He hears a Nidus Worm. Oh, Clem's panicking. He's scanning. He's like, where's the Nidus? He doesn't realize it's a defensive Nidus. That's like the equivalent of doing a nuke in the corner of the map. And then your opponent's going, where is it? Where is it? I told you guys. Nidus nightmares, right? You know he's so upset. He's like, where? Not again. Not again. Dirty Zerg players. It's actually incredible that got such a reaction out of Clem. It speaks to his mindset, not wanting to lose in the same manner again. Guys, he's building a wall of planetaries. But he doesn't actually have that many orbitals, right? He's got 7. Okay, 7. It's a small independent bank. It's not an iron bank. It's a small independent bank. They've got decent cash reserves, decent orbital energy, but not as much as the iron bank. Oh, 1, 2. A couple ghosts go down. And these trades are never that cheap for the Zerg, though. You can see it's up to 6,000 resources in favor of Clem, and still not amazing for this matchup. I really don't think that's an amazing units lost tab for the Terran. As you can see reflected in the banks, if Dark forces a big army versus army trade, he'll remax much quicker and might be able to win with the second wave. So I would argue that Dark is potentially winning this game, but because there's so much static and planetaries and turrets, where does he find that trade? Where does he find that big fight where both sides trade armies? Maybe Dark trade's a little worse, but then he remaxes so quickly he just kills you. Oh! Almost loses a full medevac to his own Widowmine there, but does end up getting a juicy hit. That Widowmine got 10 kills there. And just sieging the high ground. The fact that Clem's already securing one of these middle bases looks so good for him. If he mines one, Dark mines the other, it goes in Clem's favor. But guess what? I think there's a good chance that Clem will be able to deny this base's mining as well. So this is actually really hard for Dark. You don't want to be stuck in this standoff. I always talk about you want to go Broodlord and Fester. Solar was heading there before he kind of accidentally won the game with Lurker multi-prong and just kept playing Lingbane Hydra Lurker against Clem. But will Dark go to that stage? Because over time, I mean, in a standoff, lurkers just don't beat ghosts. Ghosts love standoffs. Like, ghosts are really bad in a mobile game where they're frantically trying to move around the map. Speaking of which, Dark does clear out some stuff. He'd love to get rid of some of these sensor towers. They're giving so much vision. Planetary going to kill a lot of those. The Zerglings will take out a ghost, so they get something there. On the left side, the Lurker using Changelings to spot the high ground is going to try and siege the turret. But, of course, that does present a very easy target. Got to get out of there, bro. Barely avoids getting sniped. Lurkers on the right side as well. How many Lurkers? 28 Lurkers! Oh, Dark is so funny, guys. Dark's going to push the production. Oh my god, he's such a Chad. He's like, I'm going to make enough Lurkers to blot out the sun. Ooh. He's just going to shove through the middle with so many Lurkers. And the whole plan here is he's basically just going to push on your production and you're not going to be able to snipe them all. He's like, too many Lurkers for you to snipe! He's gonna, okay, already some good snipes came down. The Banelings, though, making it hard for him to engage. And if he can push through and start break open the infrastructure, his Ling, Baneling, and Hydra Reinforce may be able to overwhelm. Clem walks in there, makes a bit of a mistake with his Ghost Micro, and look at this. He's trying to micro from multiple sides. It's a very stressful situation. That Planetary, though, is actually in range. High sex auto tracking. I think it's called that for a good reason, guys. It's because if you're a Terran player and your Planetary is suddenly in range of those Lurkers, well, that's high sex. I don't know what I'm talking about. Please don't listen to me, guys. Anyways, Ghosts are getting some nice snipes, and this actually ends up being a terrible engagement for Dark. The Ghosts on the left survive. The units lost have now 12, 13,000 in favor. Oh, I like the Lurker run by down there, but once again, high sex auto track. Anyways, it is allowing him to actually kill Lurkers with Planetaries, which is kind of insane, and it's very annoying. I think this one's out of range, though. Yeah, that's out of range. A Lurker has 10 range. Planetary has gone from 6 to 7 range. The Ghosts are going to deal with this. I mean, this is really bad for Dark. Dark just is now 14,000 resources behind. So inefficient. Clem has a huge bank. He's going to try and remax with Bigling Bane, but I mean, Clem's still basically maxed. The Widow Mines are getting really bad shots, though. He doesn't have much bio here. It's mostly Ghosts. No more Widow Mines left. Uh-oh. Oh, he's trying to just spread. Lift the orbitals, lift the orbitals, lift the orbitals, lift the orbitals. Oh, he saves them. If he can repair those, that'll be good, but Planetaries have been cleared in the middle, remember. This opening could get abused. There's a Planetary on the left and another one going up in front of it. 17 SCVs go down. He's got to get his bio back together, gather up his forces, and I think, honestly, just Marine Marauder plus Widow Mines is what you want here. Oh, a little sloppy here. The Cocoons, though, do have 50 life, because remember, once again, guys, Cocoon logic. Extra armor, extra hit points for some reason. But I think that's still okay there for Clem. Even though Dark closes 4,000 resources on that unit's loss tab, how many orbitals went down there, guys? I don't think many of them did. Oh, that one's going to burn down. So he didn't manage to fix things up quickly enough. Clem, he's still got a Planetary guarding that right side. It's all about trying to get him away from the static, away from his Widow Mines, but if you can catch Clem without all the pieces together, it can definitely go your way. 2 more factories building. He lost his reacted factory. He lost his reacted factory in that push. Oh, Clem, he realizes this is a real big momentum shift because he can't build Widow Mines right now. He needs Widow Mines to stop Massling Bane. I mean, Bio Ghost can kind of do it with the spready, but another orbital caught out in the open. He's got to stop losing these orbitals. These are what allow him to deal with Lurkers. If he loses all of his orbitals, he doesn't have scans. He's still got money in the bank, does Clem. Dark has more of it, though, and Dark has found a way in here. The Lurkers coming in behind this. He cannot lose these Ghosts. No Widow Mines to stop the Banelings, or very few, I should say. Gets a few good hits off, but the Lurkers, are they too deep already? Let's see. Cloak comes in. There's no Overseer. Dark doesn't have detection. He's going to have to use Banelings as budget detection. He's just going to try and blow up blind. It's like trying to get a hot mess onto a Ghost right now. That is disgusting. He's like, guess they're throwing paint across the wall, hoping to hit. The Lurkers are getting into the production, though, and that's a big problem for Clem right now. It's a big problem. The Bio Ghost on the right side as well, and the Banelings are still trying to guard against that. They actually burnt through their energy, cloaking and sniping, and they're out of energy. A lot of the high energy Ghosts went down. The Liberators might be the saving grace here. He's going to try and do a bit of a spready on the siege up, but look at that. Nice repositions from Dark. Scans going down, but he doesn't have much to do with it. Oh man, this is so bad for Clem. I can't believe, after how well that first hold went, the Dark, just with a giant Ling Bane remax, was like, do giant attack, even if inefficient. I get in, waste all your energy, then I go in again. And I said, hey, Dark might be ahead, because if you looked at the banks and you looked at the way they were trading, he was just building a way bigger bank, and his Remax was powerful. Now, he has not won this game yet, because CLEM has still been way more efficient. Dark's out of bank. CLEM's still got that left side base, but this push needs to be stopped. And my god, the Banelings! There's just not enough bio in here. There's not enough bio. Remember, guys, ghosts do very little damage to Banelings. So without enough Widow Mines to kill the Banelings, and without enough Marines and Marauders to kill those front-running units, I mean, the Ghosts are good versus Zerglings, they're good versus Hydras with their regular attack. Banelings do not have a light tag, and so it takes 3 Ghost attacks to kill them, which is 3.5 seconds of attacking time, which Ghosts do not have to spare, and the production has been breached. Oh, that is a disaster. He's going to have to rebuild. He's literally going to have to give up the main base. Yeah, he's lifting it, which is a good decision considering, but the Hydras are starting to clear him out there. And guess what, guys? He's down to just 4 orbitals. I don't even know if he has a scan right now. CLEM is in huge trouble. Oh, man, Dark. Dark's going to jump on this army as well. No, he isn't. The Liberators are getting some good tacks here. Ghost trying to come forward with some scans as well. The Ling Bane happy to run forward. Where's the big section of Marines, right? Where is the Marines to focus them down? Where are the Widow Mines? Well, guess what? He can't really rebuild them. He's got a reactor up there. He's trying to rebuild barracks, but Dark is going to get ready for a big bust on that right side as well. And if he can kill that planetary or isolate this one in the top left, either one of those will be the end of CLEM potentially. Liberators here are going to clean up a few Hydras. There's still 2 Lurkers there though. Having lost your whole main is a nightmare. CLEM has to rebuild his supply depots as well. This Widow Mine, oh, if only it hit the Banelings! Banelings! Oh my god, Dark. There's no such thing as too many Banelings, Tasteless. 132 Banelings have died, but that's actually not correct, guys. It's way more than that. Because remember, when he attacks with his Banelings, when they're not killed by the enemy, it doesn't show up in that tab. So the actual number of Banelings, I would guess at 2 or 3 times that number. I think we are nearing 300 Banelings in this game. A Baneling Lurker rolling on the bottom right side, and Dark. Dude, I always feel like, what do you do when the Terran is this well set up for the late game? How do you possibly break through? Dark is like, I make 28 Lurkers, I break the planetary, and I kill 3 Ghosts for 20 Lurkers, and it feels bad. But then I make a Tunneling Bane and I kill all of his Ghosts and his Reacted Factory, and then I make more Lurkers and I get in there and kill shit. And I'm like, how? How does this work, man? I don't understand. But he manages to do it somehow. He's done it before. He does it again. His positioning, his angling is fantastic. And I mean, it sometimes looks like you just, you know, it's just a guy with a bombie knocker smashing the French Terran over the head, but it really is not. There are very few players who can do that. And Clem there, of course, saying, good game, good luck next. He means good luck in your next match, mate. Basically saying, well done. I hope you win the tournament now since you've just stomped me out. And Dark is going to be the last player going there out of Group C. Very well played and a very nice win over Clem. GG's. Guess we can kind of look at that end quickly. I mean, this was a disaster, right? I mean, he used some ghost energy. There's still Widow Mines everywhere. All he did was open this and harass the bottom, right? And then I guess that distracts some of the army. A whole bunch of ghosts get pulled down there. And what does he remax on, guys? He's still got... It's just Ling Bane. It's not even Hydra. It's just Ling Bane. And he's like, here's Lings and Banes! And I guess there's too many SCVs for Clem, isn't there, guys? I think in hindsight, we can say 82, too many. You've got tons of orbitals, so he should have probably already bled off a lot of these SCVs. And since he's got so much money, maybe he should have already been building even more planetaries before that one went down, right? As silly as it sounds, how do you lose these situations? It's almost always the Zerg punches a hole in your defenses on one side and then punches through. And actually, wait, I said earlier these should become planetaries. I was like, oh, he's building a planetary in front of his base, but he turned them all into orbitals. That's a big mistake. One of these should have been a planetary for sure, right? You don't want to be, why would you, because your orbitals wouldn't want to be back here. So I think that's a mistake from Clem. And imagine if you had a planetary there, it would have at least just forced Dark to only have one possible angle, which is through the, up the guts, through the center. But look at this, guys. The Widow Mines are not getting good hits at all. Now, why are the Widow Mines not getting good hits? And I talk about this a lot. If you do not have enough bio actually standing there and killing the front Zerglings, if all your bio, all your ghosts are just running away, what happens is the first thing the Widow Mine tracks onto, it ends up shooting. And that's really bad. Now, why is that bad? Because the first thing it tracks onto, like you can see this line, is just one of these Zerglings at the front. And notice Dark, he's gonna just click these Zerglings further forward, and they're not gonna be anywhere near the massive Banelings. You want some of the Widow Mines to actually not fire until these guys or these guys or these guys. But if you're not gunning down these Zerglings by standing your ground with your Marauder Ghost, guess what? The Widow Mines become shit. So look at this. Two Widow Mines, 3 Widow Mines just killed a Medevac and 4 Zerglings. If Clem's turned and shot a little bit more, those Widow Mines would not have fired. Or if you're going to pull back, you need to retarget your Widow Mines. And this is something which Clem is usually very good at, but he did not do there. So he's just used 3 Widow Mines for nothing. What's this next one do? It's tracking onto this one Zergling. Kills like 6 Zerglings. Does just as much friendly fire once again. Nothing hits the Banelings. 2 more Widow Mines, I think, just burrowed down here, or at least 1. What's this guy going to shoot, guys? This one is going to shoot and kill like 4 or 5 Zerglings. Not a single Widow Mine landed on the Banelings. And that is actually so crucial. So either retargeting the Widow Mines or actually standing your ground a bit more and fighting with the bio and trying to spread at the last second a little bit more, pull back at the last second, can lead to much better results. But at this point, he probably should have tried to evac some of these units and maybe should have moved these Widow Mines over or something. And it's kind of like a bit of a bummer for him because like, oh, that Widow Mine's not helping. These guys haven't even reacted yet because they were cleaning up lurkers down there. And kind of just feels like he's a little bit short on army supply, right? He's got a Widow Mine and a few Marines up there that aren't really helping. So this was actually just a Bigling Bane remax, and it kind of feels dumb to die to it because it is a bit of a bomby knocker. A bomby knocker is like a big club, basically, you know, big stick with like a spiked ball on the end. That's a bomby knocker, if anyone who doesn't know. One of the greatest words of all time. It's a legit weapon, mate. But that's kind of what just making a shit ton of Ling Bane and shoving it in like this was, right? Dark didn't do anything special other than show a decisive instinct to attack the area that didn't have planetary and to kind of shove in and do a few spreadies. And he did it very, very well. Yeah, bomby knockers are made out of updog. Yep, that is correct, guys. That's the main material for them. Yeah, I believe they're crafted in waterfalls using a Heartstone of GIP as well. For sure. All right, guys. Very well played, though, by Dark and Clem there. Unfortunately, caught out, and it's why when you're playing this super defensive game, attention to detail really does matter. Having a planetary over there, having the Widow Mines, all that stuff would have been fantastic. He did, of course, have Drilling Claws. He got that very early, and GG, well played. Good job, Dark. Good job. He gets Clem.